Hi, welcome back. So we've been living on a boat for a little while now, and we thought it was finally time to show you around. So in this video, we will be doing the highly anticipated full boat tour.
The boat we ended up buying is a 2007 Bavaria Cruiser 46. That is a sloop-rigged monohull.
It has an overall length of 46.5 feet and a beam or width of 14.25 feet.
The height from the waterline to the top of the mast is 63 feet, and the draft, or depth, is 6 feet exactly. Now follow me down the companionway to start the tour. Under the companionway, we have the inboard diesel motor for the boat, a 55 horsepower Volvo Penta that powers a sail drive unit with a folding propeller underneath the boat. Above the companionway, we have a sliding closing door, as well as two panels that go in here that we can lock from the inside or from the outside. We lock the companionway when we're either leaving the boat or overnight. Over here we have the navigation desk, a small seating area with a big work surface. We also have the electrical panel that controls the power to all the different systems on the boat, such as the refrigerators or the water system. We also have the VHF marine radio here at the navigation desk. We use this to contact Coast Guard or marinas when we're coming into port, but we also use it to chat with other boaters as we're out for a sail. You'll also notice all of the headroom in the boat. I stand at 6'1", so there's plenty of space for me. In front of the navigation desk is the salon. This is our living room, dining room. There's a big table and benches all the way around it, with room for 6 adults to fit comfortably. We also have Luna's floating high chair on the table. Now behind the benches you'll see all of the cabinets for storage, and then underneath each one of the benches is a huge compartment for even further storage. It's also where we keep our 800 amp hours of lithium-ion batteries that allow us to live off the grid. There's even more storage right underneath my feet. In the floor, or the bilge on a boat, there's a large compartment all the way up the center line of the boat where we keep spare jugs of water, dry foods, and canned goods. Above me, you'll notice a large square hatch that draws in a lot of air. You'll also notice the port lights. They're windows that open up and allow the temperature in the boat to cool way down. And behind the salon is the galley, or the kitchen on a boat. Here in the corner, we have a deep top-loading refrigerator for tons of storage for all the cold goods we have. We have a 2-burner gimbaling oven stove combo. It rocks back and forth so that when we're underway and heeled over one way or the other, you can still cook your dinner without the pan or the pot spilling all over the place. Over here, we have our 2-basin sink with a retractable faucet, just like at home. And underneath the sink, we have a reverse osmosis filtration system that allows us to drink the water that comes out of the tap. Above the stove, you see more port lights, which are perfect for ventilation. So whenever we're cooking, all of the steam or the smoke just comes right up and evacuates out of the boat. We'll switch to Ksenia and she will show you some more of the boat.
So going aft in the boat, on either side of the companionway, we have our 2 guest cabins. On the starboard side is the cabin that we keep available for when guests come to visit. It has a giant bed that's at least a queen size. You can fit 2 adults comfortably here, even if they're as tall as Calvin. For ventilation, there are 3 opening hatches and port lights, which create a cross breeze effect, which is really important on a boat that has no air conditioning. Underneath me, we have a 200-liter diesel tank for our motor, as well as a ton of more storage. There's also an access here to the engine compartment for maintenance and repairs, as well as an access in the back for the lazarette, which is like our garage. You would have seen Calvin in the last video replacing some fuses for our water maker when he was inside of the lazarette. And finally, we have a closet for the guests with a hanging locker and shelves, so there's lots of space to put all their bathing suits. On the port side is an identical cabin that is a mirror image, and we use it mostly for storage right now. But the most exciting thing in here is our Dometic fridge freezer. You might have noticed in the Galley demonstration that Calvin did not mention a freezer with our top-load fridge. That's because this boat did not come with a freezer. This is our portable Dometic, and it has 2 separate compartments that we can set to individual temperatures. So right now we have one set to be a freezer and one set to be a fridge, and that works perfectly to store all of our cold goods. Underneath the Dometic is our 25-liter hot water tank, so we can in fact have hot showers if we choose to. We just usually don't need to because it's so hot here. And in the very back of this cabin is our water maker desalination system, which takes salt water and makes it into fresh drinking water. It makes 50 liters per hour, and we run it about every 2 or 3 days. Underneath the bed is, of course, more storage, as well as one of our 2 water tanks that the fresh water is collected into. This one is 210 liters. Now, forward of this cabin is the head, which is a bathroom on a boat. So in here, we have our manual flush toilet. So when you're done your business, you pump it a few times, and then you're done. We also have a sink, some medicine cabinets, and down here is a compartment with a few of our pumps. So we have a water pump that distributes the water from the water tanks around to all the faucets. We also have a shower pump which takes the water from the bottom of the shower and pumps it overboard. The reason we need that is that the drain in the shower is below the level of the water. So if that was just open to the ocean water would flood our boat. So what the pump does is it's a one-way valve that when we press the button, takes the water from the shower and forcefully pumps it overboard, not letting the ocean water back in. And behind me is one of the main reasons that we actually bought this boat specifically. We really wanted to have at least one bathroom with a separate shower. So this allows us to have a shower or wash Luna without standing over the toilet cramped. It's a really nice feature that gives us the comforts of home on the boat. Now, if you follow me forward, we're going to check out some more bedrooms and another head. Over here is our second head. It's a little bit smaller than the first, with another manual toilet and a sink. Now, this head technically is also a shower. It's what's called a wet head. So the faucet of the sink is retractable, and you can use this, hold it above your head like a shower. But because we have the nice shower in the other bathroom, we just use this one as a toilet, so we keep it nice and dry. And a cool feature here is that there's actually a window in the ceiling, so you can get some good ventilation when you're doing your business. Across from the bathroom is Luna's room. There are 2 bunk beds in there. The bottom we use as her bed, which we enclose with a retractable baby gate, and the top bunk is used for her change station and some storage. There's also 2 wonderful hatches in the top that bring in lots of ventilation and light for her, as well as a large hanging locker to store all of her clothes and toys. And at the very front of the boat is our cabin. Come on in. This cabin is another reason why we chose this boat. We really wanted to have a master cabin that had lots of room to get dressed, to play with Luna, to walk around. Often on boats, the cabins are quite tight and there isn't much room to move around. So this really feels like a bedroom in a home and not just a cabin on a boat. We have a huge hatch that brings in tons of air and light. There's also tons of storage. So we have another hanging locker with shelves, and then all around the bed, we have these cubbies where we keep all of our clothes organized and neat. The bed in here is super comfortable. It has a really thick mattress and it's nice and wide. It's definitely bigger than a queen, and it's more than big enough for me and Calvin and Luna and all of her toys. Underneath the bed is our second water tank. It's 250 liters, and there's also a lot more storage. And a final little secret compartment that I'd like to show you is our shoe bilge, which is down here, and it is where we store all of our shoes that we never use. Because now that we live on a boat, we're either barefoot or we're wearing our Crocs. So that's it for the inside, but that's not the end of the tour because there's a lot more to see outside, and Calvin's going to show you that next.
So coming back up the companionway, we have what's called a dodger. And this is like a spray hood. So when you're sailing or you're underway and the water splashes up over the side of the boat, you don't fill the boat with seawater. And you may have seen in the last video, I was building a step. It is now completed and installed. Out here, this area is the cockpit. We have a huge seating space for 6 or 8 adults. In the middle, a fold-out table with a large storage compartment for drinks or snacks or whatever you might need access to underway. Underneath the benches, we have very large storage lockers for outdoor equipment, such as a spare anchor or fuel tanks and so on. Back here, we have the helm. On this boat, we have a dual helm, which means a steering wheel on either side of the boat. We've also got throttle controls for the motor, as well as bow thruster controls, which help navigate in very tight areas or in a marina by pushing the nose one way or the other. Here on the back of the cockpit table, we have navigation equipment. We have a chart plotter, we have a depth sounder, speedometer, a wind reader, as well as the controls for our autopilot system. Above me is the solar arch, where we have 3 380 watt solar panels for a total of 1140 watts, which fills up our 800 amp hours of lithium batteries on a daily basis. The solar arch sits on top of our dinghy davits. Dinghy davits are a lift for our dinghy to pull it up out of the water. We keep it up out of the water when we're not using it or overnight, where we lock it to the boat. The dinghy is like our car. It takes us to shore or to docks or to other boats. Down here, in each of these cabinets, we have our propane tanks. These propane tanks run our gimbaling stove and oven in the kitchen. Where I'm standing is the swim platform. So there's a fold-out retractable ladder which allows us to climb up and out of the water when we've jumped in for a swim. And back here, we have a deck shower for rinsing off after our swims. Here we have our spare dinghy motor, which we replaced with a more reliable one, but I'm going to continue tinkering with this to make it run better. Back here we have our small propane barbecue, which is tiny but does the trick. And here we have Luna's swing, which we usually attach underneath the solar arch for optimal swinging. Follow me to the top deck. You can see all the way around the boat, we have this netting installed along the lifelines, which is really good for small children. In front of the Dodger, here's our 8-person life raft. We just had it serviced while we were still in Grenada, so it should be good and safe for another 5 years. Further ahead, we have the mast with our in-mast furling mainsail. Up here, we have a big wide open deck area where I like to do yoga. And further ahead of that, we have our roller furling Genoa headsail. Up here at the very front of the boat, we have a fender locker. And up here is our windlass and chain locker for the anchor. The windlass is an electric winch that pulls the chain up or lets it out, so that we don't need to pull it up by hand. Those of you who sailed with us back in Canada might remember anytime we anchored, we had to pull it in by hand, and that is not a fun job.
Well, that's the end of our boat tour. Thanks for watching.
We hope you liked our boat as much as we do. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions about the boat.
Make sure to give us a like and don't forget to subscribe because next week we're going on our first passage. See you there.